A very scary producer client of mine once said to me, "I've mortgaged my effing house to make this production happen. You better not fuck it up." Now, shall we discuss the marketing notes? That's the sort of world that I work in. My name's Martin Gray. I run a company called EMG. We've been around for 10 years. We're an advertising and marketing agency working in the world that I think Julius Green sort of depicted. My provocation to you guys, I mean, I do have some experience of working on subsidised projects and non-profit things as well. My provocation, which I don't entirely believe, is that it's only with the sharp stick of the commercial imperative, you know, money, profit, scary producers, that actually drives effective marketing. And all too often, without that, things can become slightly sort of navel-gazing, designed by committee, pointless and ineffective. Now, it's clearly not entirely true, but I wanted to generate a discussion maybe for later on about the two different approaches. And I was worried that talking about two approaches might be not be right, but it's clear from what Nick said earlier, Lynn, that there is a perception that there are sort of two ends of the spectrum. There's a sort of commercial way of approaching things, and it's subsidised as well, and that's true in marketing as well, I think. But actually, I think the reality is that there's really only one best practice, and it doesn't matter which end of the spectrum you sit on, and both camps should and could learn from each other. The other reality is that that's actually happening already in a lot of organisations, so I think we live in good times when it comes to marketing practice. Differences are manifold, and there's usually good reasons for these two cultures being created, I think. There's budgets, there's politics, stakeholders in certain organisations, bureaucracy, the way things are set up. Language is interesting as well, that I'd like to be interested to discuss with people. You know, in the world that I work in, we just talk about ticket sales, gross, you know, cash, you know, bums on seats. Where when you deal with non-profit organisations, things are often talk about audiences, you know, stakeholders, and it's interesting that what we're talking about is the same thing, but there are language differences as well. And I think finally the people are often different as well. In my experience, people in certain organisations tend to be more similar, and a certain kind of person has sort of ended up in a kind of West End environment, and that can be good and bad, but it does foster difference sometimes, and I think we could all come together a bit more and learn from each other. So, I mean, quickly to finish, best practice. I mean, marketing, in my view, is dead simple. All you're really trying to do is work out your key selling messages, bundle them up into some sort of communication, and then punt them out there to the right audiences. So you've got this sort of very simple process. It's all we do. But sometimes in the sort of commercial world, it's quite, the difficult bit is often how we sort of package things up. We're often really good at getting the key messages together, knowing what it is we're selling, be it a star, be it a writer. The bit in the middle, how we package it up into a lovely bit of graphic communication, sometimes translation gets lost. And I think in the non-profit sectors, sometimes it's the other way around. Organisations are often very good at coming up with clever ways of telling the story, but sometimes it's not focused enough on the key selling points, and the communication is not clear enough. The other side of the coin is that in the subsidised sector, it's really only with the inclusion and bringing in artistic people, artistic directors, understanding your audiences better, understanding the product better, that you can really manage and create effective marketing. So I think it does cut both ways, but I'll be interested to talk to people about, you know, best practice in marketing.